Hey guys, Chris here. We're here with Nick, and he's going to show the Sylvan deck that everybody's been requesting. So, here you go.
Alright, so went 3-1 at locals today. Deck is really good. Lots of adjusting when Primal Origins comes out. Deck really needs that Graceful Charity in order to win. Drawing Sylvan sucks. Alright, so we're going to start off with the Hermitry. This is ran as a 3-of for me, which sucks. I kept drawing multiple Z's, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to lower this to 2. Basically what this does is this keeps your hand advantage. You constantly excavate cards and then draw cards. Really good. This makes your boss monster of the deck. Really good. This is your secondary excavation, and it's one of your Atlanteans. When this is excavated, you pop a spell trap, and if it's flip face up, you can excavate up to 5. Really great, really situational with bear and other, shit going around. Makes it really hard for this to actually succeed. My least favorite Sylvan. I really dislike this guy, but with very little options, there's not very much to run. Normal summon, he excavates 1, which really isn't a lot, but he's an 18 feeder, level 4. So with Copy Plant, he makes the rank 4s and the level 8 synchros. Solid, definitely getting lowered when the new stuff comes out. My favorite Sylvan, Martial Leaf, probably the best one. I mean, it jumped to like 25 plus over 1 night. When he's normal summon, he excavates 2, and that's really good. He's 1500, so he's pretty semi-cool, I guess. And then if he's milled or excavated, he destroys a monster, which is really, really useful and wins really a lot of games. I
Yamato
like to use
2.0.
this with Copy Plant to make Levier, and then banish Lone Fire with Spore, and then bring the Lone Fire back. Really great. Lots of little uses with this guy. Just an amazing card overall. My 2-ofs, I run 2 Peacekeeper, and I know that's going to get a lot of attention. I only run 2 Peacekeeper over 3 because you don't want to draw this without the spell yet. And on top of it, you can only activate its effect once per turn. So if you excavate multiple of these, you only get to activate 1. And that's pretty bad because you want to keep this live as possible throughout the entire game. 2 Copy Plant, really underrated card, got really good with this this archetype. Basically, he can copy any level of any plant, and he's a tuner. So if you mill Dandelion or excavate him, you can summon this and make Formula. Or if you can copy Hermitry to make rank 8s, just anything. You have your whole deck available to you. Great card, and it's 1-for-1able. Bring about with Peacekeeper, it's a ridiculous card. I don't like this guy. This guy's terrible. I only run 2 of him because he keeps up the hand advantage for the field spell. I actually got his Excavate off a couple times. This guy is absolutely terrible. Definitely going down to 1, maybe even 0 when the new stuff comes out. Decent, but like Konami even said, this is something just to introduce players into the archetype a little easier and understanding their effects a lot more without having to mess with a wall of text. The heart of the deck is Lone Fire, obviously. It tributes itself to get any plant. I also run Wabaku, so if you mill Dandelion, a really cool trick is to bring out 1 Lone Fire, pop a token, and then bring out the second Lone Fire to pop the other token, and you bring them out in defense mode, and you set Wabaku, so next turn they have to get rid of both of these by a card effect, or else Wabaku is going to stop these from being destroyed, and you get 2 free summons. Great, great, great card. The reason why the deck honestly works right now. The one I run 1 of this thing. This is my Harpy's Pet Dragon. This is the curse of drawing it. It's terrible to draw. It's really good as a first turn. If you go first, you just Lone Fire this into defense mode, and you just sit on it. If they get rid of this, you get Lone Fire from the deck for free. I mean, just a great solid card. Definitely comes out when Prio comes out. 1 Guardio. He can excavate 1 to 3 at any time during your main phase. That's really great. Unfortunately, he's just really cursed, I guess. Like, it's really high level, so you don't want to run a lot of these. His Excavate effect is really good because it lets you recycle your dead Sylvans in the graveyard, which I find is one of the problems of the deck. Once you excavate your Peacekeepers, you have no more recursion from the graveyard unless you mill this guy to stack the Peacekeeper again. So overall, it's solid at 1. I might bring it up to 2, but more than likely it's going to stay at 1. You have your basic plant engine without Glow Bulb, sad space. This basically becomes Glow Up Bulb when Sprout Light comes out, because you can get it from the deck and then you can bring it back to Synchro. Really great. I mean, it's sad it's not a level 1 when it comes back out, but, you know, who cares?
Quick question. This ban list prediction, do you think Lone Fire might come out this vicious?
You know, probably not. Lone Fire's it's pretty good at 2. We're not really seeing a lot of play from it right now. When Sylvans come out, it might get limited after seeing, you know, heavy play. You know, there's always the expectation of a exclusive.
I just feel like if Glow Up Bulb came back, this would be this.
This would be pretty dumb if Glow Up Bulb. I think the existence of Sprout Light pretty much assures that Glow Up Bulb can't come back.
Yeah.
This is in here solely because it gets back Dandelion or Lone Fire for Black Rose. There is no other reason that this card is in here.
You gonna run a Tempest with that?
No, that's terrible. And then Dandelion is literally only here to excavate to get free tokens. Really, really good. I mean, it gets the tree out of your hand if you excavate it. So that's my monsters. Spells. 3 in Malsylvania. The deck pretty much relies on this card to function well. Speed comes from this. If you open this in the tree and Miracle Fertilizer, you have at least a really decent turn 1 play. If you don't open Lone Fire, which pretty much this deck has to do to go fast. Otherwise, it starts out super slow, and that's terrible. The Excavate effect is literally just, I guess, okay. Like, it's free. If you hit it, great. If you don't, whatever. It was free anyway. You got to see the top card of your deck. Make sure you don't draw shit. 3 Miracle Fertilizer, which more than likely is going to get knocked down to 2 because it restricts the normal summon, and you have 3 monsters that rely on the normal summon for them to excavate. Great card to bring back. If you actually bring back the tree and then somehow overlay with it, then this stays on the field. Really, really, really cool. Great top deck. That's pretty much it. It's a really straightforward card. Easy to understand. 1 for 1. It gets Copy Plan out to make Xyz plays. It gets the Spore out for synchroing. Copy, or like this really good. 3 Call the Haunted. This is self-explaining. This gets back Lone Fire. That's all that you need to know. Okay? I chose Waboku over Threatening Roar simply because if they attack a face-down mushroom mode, Waboku lets the mushroom live, whereas Threatening Roar stops the attack altogether. I have had several instances where the mushroom got Phoenix Chained or Valor during my main phase, so I would prefer the Waboku to make sure my stuff stays. Great battle trick overall. And the last but most terrible card of the deck is this shit. And I don't know how to explain how bad this card is. Like, it's really, in theory, it seems like it would be really good. You top a Sylvan that you don't want in your hand, great. You special summon a Sylvan from your hand in graveyard, great. I don't want that shitty tree in my hand anyway, so that's cool. And then it's unaffected by all the card effects, that's great. So if you use it on your turn and you have the rights to use it, and you have the right setup for it, that's awesome. But the fact is, you have to have the right setup and the right, you know, setup. Like, just you have to have the right conditions in order for this to work correctly. Otherwise, it gets stacked on top of the deck at the end phase, and that's just terrible. Or bottom, I guess. But yeah, pretty much it.
Do you ever feel like you need defensive traps or anything just to combat? It's
really, really, really hard to run any kind of spell traps in here because you want your excavates to go off as quick as possible and as much as possible, and you want them to be very high percentage of, you know, getting excavated. So you can't really run a lot of this. And this is pretty much a guaranteed right now, so you're really stuck on this. And Fertilizer's too good not to run. 1 for 1's too good not to run. You have to have some kind of defense, so Waboku is good. And Call the Haunted just makes sure that your recursion happens. You're really left with like 1 card you can work with, and this was my tolerable card to work with. Which this would be Foolish Burial if I had one today, but my stuff got stolen in Atlanta, so I don't really have much.
Yeah, whoever jerk stole this guy's bag, you're a dick, and I hope somebody yanks all your shit.
But the deck is really good, a lot of potential. I tested with it in Atlanta with all the new stuff proxied, and that deck is just batshit insane. I am honestly scared of that deck when it comes out. The Graceful Charity just makes this deck less reliant on luck and more reliant on legally stacking your deck to make sure that you get what you need, which is a really cool concept, but it's really fucking scary.
Stacking.
And then The really odd part about this deck is the extra deck. You have your Felgrand for the trees, and you have your Alsay for the trees. And that's pretty much it. I mean, you can run. I've had the ability to run more, but the fact is it's too inconsistent to actually hit the 8s all the time.
I know, like, some people have been like, well, I'll run 2 of these. Why is that bad? Or is that a good idea?
Felgrand completely is an auto-win against some decks. Well, not an auto-win, but it generally turns the tides in your favor so greatly that it almost, it raises your win percentages really high. Going against Gearkia, stopping the armor, going against Fire Fist, stopping the bear or the Exceeses. I mean, this card stays on the field, and you have to -1 in order to get rid of it if you have to waste 2 traps. So, really great card overall. Really, really, really powerful, and a lot of decks just can't handle this. A Strike Bouncer, because the Guardioak and Coffee Plant, there's also times where Powered and Zektron, like really fucking good cards, have been able to make this. And this also just wins against a lot of decks. Being able to show off 1 effect is really good without running Valor. Levier, obvious.
Levier.
Lone Fire. And any plants that you banish, like this is a must in the plant engine pretty much. 1 Slacker Edition, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to mess with this. I've never went into it yet, but I like to have the rank 1 in case I have, random 1s laying around. Shooting Star. I like this card a lot with Stardust, but I actually, before this, I was pretty dumb. I replaced Stardust with Stardust Spark, because Spark is just so much better, being able to protect so much. So this guy is probably going to come out for Star Eater, or some other synchro. Leo is crazy. This guy puts in intense work. Making him with Formula Synchron and the tree during my opponent's main phase and getting a 3100 that they can't target is really good. This card just speaks for itself, basically. Stardust Spark, amazing card, ridiculous. I won several games with it, being able to call the Hunt and protect my monsters. Crimson Blader, fucking dragons won't die, so this shit has to be in the extra deck. Black Rose, obvious. I mean, you have the Debris Dragon, you have plants.
Unless you're me and somebody has Valor or Venus Shane every time you make that.
This card is really, really debatable. A lot of people don't like this card. Actually, when I first seen this card, I really didn't like it. I thought it was really, really, really suboptimal. But rereading it and playing with it and testing, this card is really insane. Being able to use Formula on your opponent's turn to get this, and it's basically a pseudo Wabakoo, is really good. I've had the chance to crash into it with Stardust and Sheehan because it's 2500 and it can't die by battle. So it's a great effect. Not broken, not ridiculous, but it's a great effect. I would not run Vulcan over this in a heartbeat just because this card is ridiculous. Hyper Librarian, it's plants. That's it. I run this over Army Arm because if this dies, it gets back Lone Fire Blossom. And that seems to be the core of this deck. Like, just play Lone Fire Blossom. Any card that gets back Lone Fire Blossom is really good. So this guy is good. Colossus, really great card. With Formula, being able to make it with the Dandy token, really good. I won several games being able to lower my opponent to 0, and then with a free score, and then being able to bring something back and attack. And then Formula, it's plants. Again, like, if you're not playing this in plants, you're playing plants wrong.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So, but yeah, this is basically the deck. For side deck, I haven't really decided on really what I want to play in the side deck. It's kind of been just winging it, I guess. So, Electric Virus actually won me a couple games. Great card. It's really awkward because you have to side in hoping that you don't disrupt your plant excavate engine while at the same time not taking out the cores to make sure that your deck's doing, okay.
Yeah.
So, Virus actually is a really good card. DD Crow, another great card. This card put in work for the last 3 weeks I've been testing. This card, ridiculous. There are so many cards that target in the graveyard right now, and there are so many threats that recur in the graveyard. This guy is just good overall, because fuck Hysteric Sign. Overworked, obvious. Madolches, they have the field spell, kills it. Noble Knights, they equip shit. Harpies have the field spell. I found it hilarious when I overworked a Harpy player after they partied and the field spell was on the field. So this card is really good.
Salt.
Yeah, no kid.
3 Fairy Wind. This card is probably my favorite side deck card of the format.
Oh, that
This
card is amazing.
Is ridiculous. I know that both players take damage, but the fact that it destroys all face-up spell and trap cards, which means field spell zone. You know, I chanted to Decree one time. There was a player who was playing GKs. I hit 2 Prohibition in that. This card is just ridiculous overall. Great card. Hits pretty much all the side deck cards that people are siding. Just amazing. And then Forbidden Lance. I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't know why I'm running this card. It just seemed really good. And again, I'm just winging it. Like, this isn't even a full side deck.
I don't know if I saw it right. Are you not siding or maining MSTs at all?
No, I am not. The deck really can't afford MSTs. I'll probably side it if I can, but it's really hard to take out for the side because, you know, what do you take out? It's really difficult. Something that I'm going to have to work with in theory because I'm really not that good in practice. I'm great in theory, but terrible in practice. So I'm going to have to make sure that I experiment a little more. Again, this is still a baby design, you know, just something that I've been working with recently, not something that's hard, solid. I don't really work on the side deck until I know the deck in full and I have it perfected, because then I can know what works and what doesn't, and I can adjust what I need to. But so far, this right here has worked amazingly and performed ridiculously well. I would definitely advise these.
Just out of curiosity, Maxis.
I don't know about Maxis. I'll probably have to test with it. Valor just seems really good right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Or something equivalent to Valor. It's really difficult. I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh's pretty difficult when you really, you know, you can't establish. If you're not going first, your opponent gets a full field to establish, and then you have to basically try and recover from their field rather than establishing your own field. So it's really difficult to work along the premises of that kind of theory. So with Sylvan's being slow right now, going second is pretty terrible, especially if you have the Commushromo and you're going against a terrible matchup where you know they can kill it. Or if you don't open Longfire and they have traps. I mean, it's just a really difficult situation. It's a really tough theory to work with. You know, if you lose advantage very quickly, generally it's a downhill game that you're going to lose unless you Miracle Fertilizer, which I guess in that sense is a miracle. But yeah, it's a really good deck. Lots of potential. It gets